folks, welcome back to another Kdog Goes to the Movies. You know, this week's been kind of an interesting week. You ever been online shopping and you know the item is a very particularly popular item and then someone else just tries to snatch it away from you? I had something like that occur this week, and you know, it wasn't necessarily an eBay thing, but as many of you know, there was a certain artist posted a certain item on a certain website to sell it, and needless to say, it was a pain in the butt trying to order this thing. Online shopping, it's just a thing, you just go on and find what you need and get it, and it's there and gone. But when you only limit it to 24 hours, that the whole thing just, everybody's going to dogpile on that item, thus slowing down the website in order to get it done. It was nothing but short of miracle just to get this item. Speaking of miracles, that leads us into tonight's movie. Tonight's movie is a 1987 film from Steven Spielberg. Even though Steven Spielberg did not direct this film per se, he was the producer of the film. What am I talking about? You're probably scratching your head, thinking, what is he talking about? Well, in 1987, by this time, Steven Spielberg was still riding high off the success of E.T. He was looking constantly for new material to produce for his film, or to produce under his Amblin Entertainment banner. So, we're going to look at 1987's Batteries Not Included, which stars Hume Cronyn and Jessica Tandy playing married couple, which they were married in real life. And so tonight, grab the kids. This one's going to be a fun one for them. The film is rated PG, parental guidance suggested for some language in the film, so do have some caution there. But the kids will probably love it because it's got cute and cuddly UFOs. Not aliens per se, but UFOs, flying saucers. And the kids may find those things particularly very cute and cuddly. And so, grab your popcorn, grab your drinks. Let's roll the film from 1987. It's Batteries Not Included. Produced by Steven Spielberg, directed by Matthew Robbins. I have more trivial things after the end of the film, so let's roll the film. So the residents of 817 East 8th Street get to stay in their apartment. Matter of fact, a restored apartment building, while the evil landlord built his skyscrapers around the complex. This movie I remember watching as a kid, and when I was really younger, and just enjoyed it. Because of the fact, it had the cute and cuddly robots, very in the same vein as E.T. and, some of the other movies that were coming out at the time. It was produced by Steven Spielberg. The only thing is it falls a little short in terms of just overall excitement in terms of like being a big movie. That's where I think the movie falls flat, but still enjoyable, still a product of the 80s, definitely. And of course the performances by Hume Cronyn and Jessica Tandy as the old married couple. Jessica Tandy is really good in this, playing the wife and having Alzheimer's and just having that spark of youth and she's the one that's kind of, I don't know, it doesn't really revolve around her, but she's the one that sparks the interest in everybody into, believing that these things do exist. And it's just a wonderful little tale. It does kind of fall flat, and there's a specific reason why it falls a little flat. Because at the time Steven Spielberg was producing a TV show, what is known as an anthology TV show. In case you don't know what an anthology is, meaning that it's different stories. Each episode doesn't follow the same cast of characters from episode to episode. It's actually a different cast, different characters, different story each episode. The show was called Amazing Stories. And I forget how long the show ran. It ran for a few years in the 80s on NBC. And of course, when you're producing a show like that, you get pitched a lot of stories. And Batteries Not Included was one of the stories that was originally pitched for Amazing Stories to be produced for a hour long, or half hour to an hour long, I forget how long it was, half hour to an hour long episode of Amazing Stories. But Spielberg began to read the story and the script and thought that this was much bigger than just one half hour or an hour long. He thought that it should be made into a 90 plus long movie with some, a little bit of enhancement to the script, to extend it. And that's how that came about. The movie, I don't have any statistics about box office wise. I know it wasn't a big success. Matter of fact, people kind of they forget about this movie. They forget that this movie ever existed, but it's just a wonderful 80s fantasy that just tickles the heartstrings a little bit, and just enough to put a smile on your face and enjoy. Another thing about this film is that the score is done by James Horner, and he had just done a film that also starred Hume Cronin and Jessica Tandy in Cocoon. And you hear very similar type of score with Batteries Not Included and the Cocoon movies, because there actually was a sequel. And a little bit of other trivia about this movie is that the score also has a jazz score. That's why the scores are very, very similar. So much so that in Cocoon the Return, James Horner kind of recycled some of the jazz score from Batteries Not Included and inserted it into Cocoon the Return. Because all three films were made fairly close together. But yeah, Batteries Not Included, just a fun little 80s romp. And you can obviously see how far special effects had come along as well, because all the spaceships were designed by Industrial Light and Magic, and this was before computer graphics, and so all the spaceships were were either by puppets or they were stop motion animation. And some of the stop motion animation you can kind of see if you watch it in high def, you can kind of see that they took some layers of film and put them together. It's not terrible, but it's definitely proof that there was some optical effects added to the scene, and of course the supporting cast is very good as well. I think it's her name, Elizabeth Piana, playing the Hispanic pregnant woman, and the neighbor, that's the artist. He's pretty good, and the guy that plays as the superintendent. Matter of fact, that's where the title of the movie comes from, because he cannot speak. When he does speak, he speaks lines from TV commercials, and so it's the little taglines from TV commercials is what he can say. And so when one of the spaceships is stillborn, he says, "Batteries not included." So there you go. That's where "batteries not included" comes from. But yeah, "batteries not included." It's tonight's movie. Stay tuned. I'll have another movie coming up pretty soon. So, from me to you, see you later.